Hello and welcome to British English with Sam. It's been a while since my last video, so thank you for joining me. If it's your first time here, I help people to learn English and improve their British accents. So welcome to the channel. So yes, I've been all over the place recently. If you don't know what that means, keep watching this video to find out. So today is all about phrasal verbs. If you don't know, phrasal verbs are a type of verb in English made up of multiple words. I can do another video explaining what those are exactly, but this video covers these verbs. And I personally think phrasal verbs make English quite difficult to learn because there are so many, and I'm a native English speaker and I still hear phrasal verbs or sayings that I don't know. But don't be scared, don't worry, don't be discouraged. You'll learn them, and even if you don't use them, at least you'll be able to recognize them. The first one is to make sure. To make sure is to essentially check something is done, or to check something is a certain way. To ensure something is something. For example, your teacher could say, make sure your homework is done. Or if someone asks you a question about doing something, you might reply, yes, I'll make sure. So to make sure essentially just means to ensure or to know that something is a certain way, is in a certain condition. The second one is to get carried away. So to get carried away has a couple of meanings. The first means to get carried away physically, to be physically moved. And the second meaning is the phrasal verb, which means to get so involved in something or so engrossed in something. Engrossed means to be like really focused in something. So you get so engrossed, so focused on something or into something, you forget something, you forget where you are, or you lose control, you get overexcited. Because you're not thinking about anything else. So you get carried away in the situation. For example, you could say, when I start dancing, I always get carried away. The third one is to be all over the place. And to be all over the place means to be extremely disorganized, chaotic, or confused. It can mean you're very confused. For example, you could say, since I've started my job, I've been all over the place. Or since I've started my new job, I've been so busy, I've not been able to do anything. I've been all over the place. I've been so disorganized. It can also mean, if something is all over the place, it can mean it's everywhere. For example, I was walking and I dropped my dinner, and now there's food all over the place. There's food everywhere. Your dinner's everywhere. And the fourth one, a very common phrasal verb or saying, is to get something out of the way. To get something out of the way means to do something uncomfortable or do something you might not want to do at the earliest chance or sooner rather than later. And sooner rather than later means you do it now instead of further in the future. If you do it sooner rather than later, that means you don't have to think about it later on. So for example, you might say, I just want to get my exams out of the way. Or you could say, as soon as I get Monday out of the way, I can relax. So just remember, if you're trying to get something out of the way, you want to do it earlier instead of later, because it's probably something that stresses you out or something you might not want to do. So if you do it before, you don't have to keep thinking about doing it, or you don't have to keep being scared at the thought that you need to do something. The next one is to swap something out. To swap something out means to exchange it with something else, to swap it with something else. To interchange something. For example, in this sentence, it is raining. You could swap out the word raining with sunny. So to swap out means to change something for something else, to swap something for something else. The next one is to get into something. And to get into something means to get involved in or to start doing something. Or it may actually mean to physically get into something, such as to get into your car. As a phrasal verb, this could mean to get into sports or to get into piano, such as I got into learning languages when I was very young. I got into playing the piano when I was very young. Or you could say the man got into a fight, to get involved in. And you may hear it when people are arguing. For example, someone might say, do you really want to get into this now? Do you really want to start talking about this right now? The next one is for something to ring a bell. And this is a very common one again. If something rings a bell, it means that it reminds you of something, and you might not know exactly what, but you know you can remember hearing that before. For example, someone may say to you, do you remember the interview I had recently with the restaurant? And you may say, no, but rings a bell. I think I remember, rings a bell. Or someone might say to you, do you remember Mr. Smith from school? And you might say, I don't. I think the name rings a bell, but I don't really remember. That's how people would say that. So it's like saying you kind of remember, but you don't at the same time. The next one is to lose your train of thought. And this one, again, is really common. So to lose your train of thought means to forget what you were thinking about or forget what you were talking about. So for example, if I'm talking like this and I say, today it's really, sorry, I lost my train of thought. That's how people would usually use this. Or for example, I could be telling you about my weekend and I'm saying, oh yeah, Saturday I went to the park, played some football, I played some tennis, I played sorry, I lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about. So that's what losing your train of thought means. And the next one is to lose your thread. And this means the exact same thing. You forget what you're talking about, or you forget what you were thinking about, and you can't remember. So you might hear, oh, I lost my thread, or I lost my train of thought. They're basically the same thing. And if you lose your thread, or if you lose your train of thought, you forget what you were talking about, or you forget the point that you were making when you started talking, you might have to make it up as you go along. And to make something up is the next one. To make something up is a very, very common one. This essentially means to produce something, or lie about something, fake something, say something that isn't real or false. So for example, if you forgot your homework, or you forgot an important document at work, and you think, oh my God, I need to find an excuse. You think, quick, I'll have to make something up. My dog ate my homework. Or I was walking to work and the document blew out my hand. And blew out is another phrasal verb. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you picked up a few of these phrasal verbs. And as I said earlier, even if you don't use them all, at least you'll be able to understand them or have a rough idea of what it means, so you're not lost in the conversation. Yeah, I hope you found that useful and learnt a couple of bits. And as well, before you go, I have a post in the community section of my YouTube channel where I've asked a question. Some people have replied, so thank you very much. But if you're struggling with the pronunciation of anything, or any words, or want to hear something in a British accent, just let me know. Leave a comment there and I'll come back to it, and I'm going to produce a video. I'm going to make a video soon on how to answer these difficult words or words you struggle with, and hopefully help you pronounce them better and improve your English speaking. So thank you very much. Great to see you again, and see you next time. Bye.